Hello, hello, hello. This is Dr. Janice R. Love, also known as the First Lady Coach, and welcome to my YouTube channel. I equip seasoned pastors' wives to have the clarity, the confidence, and the courage to walk boldly into the destiny for which she was chosen. All right. So tonight we are going to be talking about 3 proven methods to improve your mental health and your mental status. Now, if you have been following me a couple of weeks for this mental health versus mental wealth, the difference between mental health and mental wealth, then you have been able to answer the questions that I presented last week. So again, last week I presented 5 different questions to help you to be able to measure your mental health status as well as your mental wealth status. And you use a scale. Here's the scale that we use from 1 to 10. Just in case you didn't do this last time, go ahead and go along with me because I'm going to quickly go through the questions that we asked last week. But number your page from 1 to 5, and then you will be able to score yourself for each question. So our question was, which do you think about the most, pain or purpose? Question number 2, when you think about your future, are you feeling tired or inspired? Thirdly, which one dominates your thoughts more, fear or faith? Question 4, which do you find yourself saying more often, I'm not or I am? Then question number 5, which occurs more often in your marriage or your close relationships, hurt or harmony? Now we're going to be talking about 3 proven methods to improve your mental health and your mental wealth status. So again, now that you know what your mental health and your mental wealth status is in those 5 areas, let's talk a little bit more about the scoring. So if you found answers that are ranging more to the left-hand side, being your mental health, that focuses more on mental health. The further you move towards the right in your scoring, you are moving more towards your mental wealth. So if you scored anywhere between 1 and 3 for any of the questions, then you may respond best to therapy. If you have scored anywhere between 4 and 6, you may respond best to counseling. And then if any of the questions you scored between a 7 and a 10, you may respond best to coaching. Now let's talk a little bit about defining each one of these areas, because again, these questions that I've asked you focus on the critical areas in your life. Remember, your mental health is all about how you think, how you feel, and how you act. And your mental wealth is more about those assets that you have that can help you to become that best God version of yourself, or that woman that God created you to be. If you're falling somewhere in the middle, 2 things can happen. Either you can stay right there in the middle, sometimes being stuck, or you can go either way. You can go back to having more challenges in your life from a mental health standpoint, or you can move towards mental wealth. So let's talk about, if you scored again in the areas between 1 and 3, you respond best to therapy. So let's talk a little bit about therapy. When you have a health diagnosis, your doctor typically comes up with a treatment plan for you. The same happens when you are unable to function normally because you are being challenged in some mental health areas. So therapy is one of those things that is used to help you relieved or healed from things such as anxiety and depression. Typically, when one is experiencing anxiety or depression, the best resource for you is some type of therapy. Now, there are three different types of therapy, and I'll briefly cover them so that you'll be familiar with them. There's a thing called insight therapy, and it is designed to look at how or what is going on, why it's going on, and then will help you to be able to determine how to get that back to a normal status. Okay. So, insight therapy is really about why and how. Why are you responding this way? Is it something that happened in your past? Is this type of trauma? Is it biological? Okay. But then it's designed to help you to be able to remedy that. Then there's a thing called behavioral therapy, which is probably the most prominent or the most popular form of therapy out there. And that focuses on how to change those behaviors that are not helping you. Okay, how to change those things that are not helping you. And then finally, there is a thing called biomedical therapy, which is usually focused on some type of medication, because there are some levels of mental health challenges that can only be helped a combination of both some therapy and some medication. All right, so that focuses on therapy. So I just again want to define these for you tonight because we're going to go deeper into them on our next session. Because remember, this is a series. So again, so now if you score between 4 and a 6, you may respond better to counseling, or you may be best served by getting some counseling. And when you think about counseling focuses on the normal, typical development issues that we may experience during our lifetime. For instance, you've heard of career counseling, you've heard of family counseling, you've heard of individual counseling, and you've heard of things like grief counseling. These are areas that are normal development issues that we may experience in our lifetime. And counseling helps you to be able to tackle that problem or seek help for that problem before it becomes a challenge for you and moves you further backwards to those areas where you are challenged mentally from a mental health perspective. So there's two forms of counseling, and they would be individual counseling, again, where the person who is the counselor and the client, they form a bond that enables that person to be able to trust them and to begin that personal growth process. Okay. So again, individual counseling, and then there is group counseling where perhaps those can come together in a group who are experiencing the same challenges. You've seen people take career counseling groups or even grief counseling groups. You might be familiar with those, where people who are experiencing the same kinds of things can come together and focus on their particular concerns. All right, so you still with me? All right, so next I want to introduce you again to the scores from 7 to 10. If you scored in those areas, you may respond best to coaching. Now let's talk a little bit about coaching. Again, if you score between 7 and 10 on any one of the questions and you are challenged in that area, or you're wanting to grow and develop in that area, then you may respond best to coaching. The coaching is a form of development in which an experienced person supports the client in achieving a specific personal or professional goal. Now, let's look at the difference here between going from therapy to counseling to coaching. Typically, if you are in the range where you are having challenges in your life that are creating problems for your everyday life and dealing with mental health challenges, or even, again, those things that they might require counseling, you are probably more in a need status. But when it comes to coaching, coaching is more about a want, meaning that you want to take you already have. You want to take a gift that you already have. You want to take those assets that we have talked about to help you to grow and achieve the goals that you have set out for yourself. Now, there's some data out there that shows that 70% of people who receive coaching benefit from improved performance or improved relationships and are more effective communicators and better, they have more confidence, okay? When you are in a coaching relationship, it is a partnership and you are able to maximize your performance again by the coach helping you to focus on your strengths to help you to get to the next level. So as we think about our mental health and our mental wealth status, again, I have given you 3 proven methods that can help you to improve in any one of those areas. So again, I have covered with you therapy and told you a little bit about the 3 different types of therapy that are out there. And then there is, again, the counseling. And I'm going to be talking a little bit more about Christian counseling, which is a form of therapy and counseling. You put God in it and you use His word in order to help you to overcome typically what are those strongholds. And then we have talked about coaching, and coaching can also not only individual coaching, but it can be in a group process as well. So stay tuned next week where we are going to be talking about 3 reasons why Christian counseling is a better choice than therapy. And I'm excited to share this with you because, again, there are some tools that we have as Christian women that can help us only, again, to achieve our positive mental health status, but also to help us to take advantage of those assets that can take us to mental wealth. So thank you for joining me. Remember, Dr. Janice R. Love, also known as the First Lady Coach, and I equip seasoned pastors' wives to have the clarity, the confidence, and the courage to walk boldly into the destiny for which she was chosen by being perfectly who God created her to be. Thank you.